our special guest. Make sure she's here. I was just texting with her, so she should be. Mrs. Holly Bailey, who is overcoming adversity personified. She's really, really making a name for herself and doing a lot of really, really good things. And we've been wanting to get her on the call for a while. So Holly, are you with me this morning? I see you. You're on mute. There you are.
Oh, there we go.
There we are. How are we doing, Holly?
Great. How are you?
I'm terrific. First of all,
Wonderful.
round of applause for you. The first thing I want to start with for you is you coming to the convention, coming from Arkansas, coming to Miami. That was your first time in Miami, correct?
Yes, it was. Culture shock, I'm telling you.
Culture shock. You were out of your element, uncomfortable. But the great thing about being uncomfortable is once you get in the element, you become comfortable. So like by day 2, I saw a big difference in who you were in day 1. Would that be accurate?
Oh, very much so. I was telling my husband last night or not before last that I actually missed getting up and going to the convention. I missed that.
Well, if you want, you can stay at my house and just drive down to Miami every day if you really want to get back into the mode of that.
Let's go.
So I want to talk a little bit to start on your journey. And there's nobody better, at the convention we had the theme of adversity. There's nobody better at FFL that could give a story of overcoming adversity than you. So share what you want to share. Don't share what you don't. But for everybody who's going through something, tell them a little bit about your background and what brought you here.
Okay, so my background has been in sales since 2009. The first job I had in sales was at a car lot, like many. And within my first hour of my first day, I sold my first car. And it was a guy who'd come in, he was Air Force. He'd come in off, he'd just got off duty and come in and was going to get an oil change on his car. So he was in the service line. And I walked up to him and I was like, how you doing today? Small talk. And I noticed in his back seat, he had a car seat in the back, like an infant car seat in the back seat. And it was a 2-door, just a little sports car of some sort. And I was like, I bet it's hard to get a baby in now that back seat, isn't it? And that's how I sold him his first car. I was like, I got something better for you that's safer and easier to get that baby in now that back seat, because nobody's getting a baby out of that back seat in a car seat still asleep. And that's the one thing all parents want, is to keep their baby asleep when they get home. So that was the catalyst to my sales career. I got that high from that first sale and I wanted it. And so I ended up jumping around because I needed to be home with my kids, because I've homeschooled them this is the 10th year we've homeschooled them, and I have 3. And I needed to be home with the kids, and I knew sales was what I wanted to do. So I started looking at direct sales companies, network marketing, MLM, and I bounced around from company to company trying to find a way to make it work. And, with those kinds of companies, direct sales, MLM, network marketing, the people above you are the ones that make the most money. You get pennies while they're making the money off of everything you sell and all you do. But I knew the vehicle of sales was the way to get financial freedom in the end. So one day I was just scrolling through Facebook and come across a sponsored ad. I can't remember who sponsored it now, but it was a sponsored ad for Family First Life. And I was like, that looks promising. So I started doing research, seeing how much money could actually be made by the agent, not the person directly above them. And I'd done a whole lot more research, and I was like, okay, if this is going to work, I'm going to find the number 1 producer in FFL, and I'm going to get under them and just go all in and make it work. And that's when I come across you, Steve, and reached out to you, and that's how I came here.
That's awesome. And what I love about the story you just gave in the way of sales is you have a passion, and you're also a good speaker and a good talker, and you can talk passionately about what it is you're selling, right? you have that gift. How do you think that is now translated from that environment to what you're doing now?
Um, Honestly, I've always had a passion for helping people, like deep, deep rooted, long living passion for just helping people. And so when I was in the MLM world, I was always looking for the next thing that I could really help people with. And that's, I believe, is what translates completely into Family First Life, is that I'm giving something to them that they need, not just want. And when you need it, um, there's more of a passion behind it and explaining why they need it. And it's an easier way to keep the residual income there. And not just that, but like truthfully helping protect people. They the gratitude that you get from people when you really stick your neck out and you go all in and say, hey, I'm here to help you, what do you need? That's, I believe that's what's completely translated over to Family First Life.
Yeah. Now, when you started, which was what month? What was it? About 9 months ago, 10 months ago, right? At this point?
Yeah. April
Yeah.
2021 was my first policy. So yeah.
Got it. Okay. You did a lot from home, a lot virtual, because you overcame some health adversities. Talk about
Mm-hmm.
that and kind of how you, out of necessity, have made it work.
Okay, so going back a couple of years before Family First Life, I had a condition called the endometriosis, which it's something that's pretty common among women, but I had an extreme case of it, and it ended up leading to frozen pelvis, which is every muscle in your like belly button down was completely frozen, like in concrete. And I was walking with a cane. I was having to use a shower seat because I couldn't even stand up to take a shower. It was bad. So I found doctor after doctor, and I went in and they were like, okay, so you have this condition, but we think you need to do this, this, and this before we do surgery. And I was like, okay, no, I know I need to do surgery because I've had doctor after doctor try all these different things and nothing worked. So I went about 2 hours away and found a doctor who was like, okay, we're going to do this surgery. You're going to be okay. So he went in, done the surgery. Well, while he was in there, he discovered that it was not just endometriosis, but had progressed to endometrial cancer. And that just threw a wrench into the works. You know, it just blew everything out of the water. All my plans were put on hold. I didn't know what I was going to do. And that was, let's say, that was July of 2020 is when that was, when I had my surgery. So after that, they took, like, I believe they said 2.3 pounds of endometrial cancer along with like 6 pounds of endometriosis. And they did a total hysterectomy, and they went ahead and took all of my lymph nodes in my pelvis. So, because they were wanting to break that link in that chain so it wasn't a cancer highway so that it spread to other places. And if they hadn't done that, it would be a totally different situation that I'm in right now. But long story short, they did the endometrial, they did surgery, took out all the endometrial cancer. So I was on bed rest when I found Family First Life because of all of that and the medicine and the treatments and everything. I was on bed rest. So I was only able to go to a couple in-home appointments because it was just, I just couldn't stand and walk on my own. So the fourth or fifth, yeah, I think it was the fifth policy I wrote from home on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something that I had to find a way to make it work while still being on bed rest. And so I had to come up with a way. I had to adapt and evolve the sales process, which honestly, I had done a lot of social media selling with the MLM companies and direct sales companies. So I just I took what I already knew and adapted it to Family First Life.
That's incredible. I mean, the fact that you dealt with everything, 3 young kids, married, and kind of your mindset. And I want to talk to that because through all of this, obviously, monkey wrench, like you said, thrown into things. How did you keep yourself mentally strong to kind of just keep things moving to progress into this career with that thrown at you?
Well, at first it was just I'd been dealing with endometriosis for so long, and I'd had all these different treatments. So it was just more of what I'd been dealing with. So it really didn't affect my mindset much. It was like, well, okay, so now what's next? What do we do now? But what really got me was 3 months ago, they figured out that I have kidney disease. It's polycystic kidney disease on top of everything else I was dealing with. So that's what I really struggled with mindset wise. When I got to that point, it was like, what else is going to happen? Because you can only take so much before you have a mental breakdown. And I did. I really did at that. And I'm going to be honest, this was 3-4 months after I'd started with Family First Life, and I just had a mental breakdown. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this with working with family. I've got to make ends meet. I've got to make this work. I have to, but I was struggling with how I was going to be able to do that. And I was talking to my husband one night, and I was like, it's just not fair, And then it clicked, because I realized what I was saying was, it's not fair because I can't control it. And when I realized it was more about controlling the situation I was in than the actual situation, the fact that I had lost control of everything, I realized that it was the control that I needed to take back. And when I got that in my mind, I just decided, look, I'm going to take control of what I can control. And what I can't control is picking up the phone. I can't control whether they say yes or no, but I can control picking up the phone. I can control sending that text, that email, responding back to somebody on Facebook. I mean, there's certain things you can control. And if you focus on what you can control, that's where you stop dropping excuses.
Wow. I mean, your story is incredible. And you talked about excuses, and, you hear a lot of people with excuses and, I can't do this, I can't do that. How do you, when you hear certain people, hey, I can't go out and I can't do this, or I'm complaining, I had 3 no-shows. What is your reaction to that, and to people that do this and do have excuses as to why they can't be successful?
Well, honestly, like I was just saying, I was sort of chuckling in the background, because it's like everybody has excuses. Okay. Our mindset goes from, our minds have 2 initial reactions to things: fight or flight, right? We've all heard that. And our body is, its instinct is to protect us. So it's instantly flight, right? And that's where the excuses come from. It's, oh, this is going to be hard. This is scary, whether it's conscious or subconscious. There's things that scare us. And when those things happen that scare us, that's when we start coming up with excuses. And so I was chuckling in the background, because I've seen people, even like prospects, they want to change their lives. They want what we have, but then they're like, well, I'm really busy right now. I'm working all these jobs, and I'm Instacart driver on the side, and these different things that they're like, well, I don't have time to do this. And I'm like, well, if you stop those 1,500 different things and you focused on this one thing,
yep,
you'd have more time than you would know what to do with. And the excuses people come up with is what that's what gets me, because I've heard excuse after excuse that are just so random and off the wall. Like right now, okay, I'm a work from home mom, right? I have 3 kids. I homeschool them. They're not out at school somewhere. They're here in the house. And today, my 2 sons, 15 and 6, have decided they want to kill each other. They're just fighting, and they're being loud and screaming. And I could have made the excuse today, hey, my kids are losing their minds. I can't get them under control. They're, I don't know if somebody put crack in their lunch. I don't know what's going on because they're all going crazy, and I could have made that excuse, or I could have done what I decided and went through with this to show other moms, hey, you can do this too. And it's either making the excuse that I can't do this because of this, or flip it on its head and do the opposite to prove other people, hey, you may be in this situation, but you can do this too.
Mm-hmm. It would have been really cool if you'd have had them killing each other in the background while we were doing the interview. That would have been, that might have been the greatest team call ever if you would have did that, but maybe next time. So now, like, your goals and what you're doing, you're protecting about, 15, 20 families a month. You just protected 7 in the half week, getting back from convention. You at convention, we had you, touch the red jacket because that is a goal of yours. So we had you touch the red jacket, and you're also building a team, and you're very active on social media. You're probably one of the most active that I see. You just had someone pass their exam, right? It was someone warm market to you, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Krista, she's actually watching today. This is her first one, so she's on. But I'm pretty active on social media. That's where I've been getting the majority of my recruits.
so when you look at goals, obviously, like we said, Hall of Fame producer, which you'll definitely do, and building a team. After coming from the convention and seeing all that you saw, it probably opened a lot of eyes for you. What do you really think now in the way of like building your business and your big time goals in building your business and your team?
I was dreaming too small. I didn't
Mm.
realize exactly how big my dream should be, because I did come from, the MLM world, the direct marketing or direct sales, network marketing, that side of it. I was dreaming based on what I saw the income potential there being. And no, I was dreaming way too small. I got into this wanting to make at least what my husband made a month. And in my first policy, 20 minutes writing the policy, my first policy, I made about twice as much as he made in a month.
Mm.
And that's when I was like, okay, this is bigger than I thought. But until convention, I didn't realize that I still wasn't dreaming big enough. That I
I
think
like
has
that.
been my shortcoming or my downfall, is I'm not dreaming big enough with what's what this company can give us.
Yeah.
But my goal is April will be my 1-year anniversary. By my 2nd year anniversary, I will be Hall of Fame. I will have a office. I will have my logo. And I'm hoping by my year I will have, no, I'm not hoping. I'm claiming and saying I'm going to have, I want to have 100 agents under me by the 2nd year. So April 2023.
I love that because I'm excited when you open your office and I come there to the grand opening, where we're going to go for dinner in Arkansas. Like, where would we go?
Well, honestly, the town that where I'm going to have, I'm already looking for places to open an office. It's Batesville, Arkansas, and it has about 14,000 people, maybe. But there are a couple country southern cooking kind of places that we can go. There's Colton Steakhouse, which is got some really good food. It's that southern comfort style cooking. Or there's also a sports bar just up the road where we can go and hang out and
I'm in.
eat there.
I'm down. So now, your husband, tell me again what he does for work for anybody who doesn't know.
My husband is the head of the criminal investigation division. He's detective sergeant for the Sharp County Sheriff's Department.
Okay. So now obviously he, sees your ventures into entrepreneurship. Obviously, I'm sure that the passion you brought back from the convention must have been infectious. How has his thought process changed, and how is that now helping you? Because it's hard when look, none of us were entrepreneurs, and then all of a sudden we get into it and we're learning and figuring it out. And sometimes spouses can, they can help or hinder. And it seems like he's coming around to what you're doing. So what is that looking like now for you?
Well, if we'll go back to when I was jumping from MLM company, direct sales network marketing, I was putting more money in than I was making. You have to pay to join those companies. And then most of the time you're buying your own product to get commission. And it just wasn't working. My husband, he was like, you're done. I'm done doing this with you. You're not making any money. It's just frustrating you. You get down on yourself because you're not making it, when it's in reality, it's the way the companies are structured that's causing you to not make it. I know you can do this, but you're going to have to find another way. Yeah. So when I found Family First Life, I did like a month and a half worth of research on it before I even talked to him about it. Like, I made sure that it was the real deal. There was truth in it. No, there wasn't any lies or anything done behind the curtain, that it was very transparent. And that's when I brought it to him, and I was like, okay, this is what I'm looking at. This is what it is. It's not MLM. It's not direct marketing. It's not network marketing. It's not direct sales. It's none of that. What it is life insurance. And they actually pay for me to take my course. Like, I laid it all out to him, and he was like, okay, I'm behind you on this. And so I took my course, and I was completely broke. And I'd swore to him that I would never ask him for another penny to do any of my harebrained schemes that he called them. And I looked at him after I took my course, and I had no money to my name. We had money as a couple, but I had no money. I was broke. And I looked at him and I said, the state exam is $50. I don't know how I'm going to come up with that. He reached in his wallet and pulled out his card and said, here. And that's when I realized that he was seeing that this was different, and that it wasn't the same as I'd been doing. And since then, and I remember heading to my exam, and I was so nervous going to the exam, because I was like, what am I going to do if I fail this exam? That's $50 you just wasted again on me doing one of these things. And he told me, he said, if you fail it, we'll pay it again and you'll retake it, period. And I was like, okay, all right, let's do it. And so I was super nervous going in, but by the time I got in there after I talked to him and everything, and we got everything, he calmed me down and laid everything out as far as, you're going to do it. We're going to keep at it until you make it. I went in there, nerves completely calmed, and passed the test in 32 minutes. So after that, when I made my first commission, he looked at me and he was like, well, okay. So I told him that I'd sold a policy and this is how much I'd calculated would be the commission. But he was still in the MLM and network marketing mindset. And he was like, okay, I'll believe it when it hits your account, because that just seems too good to be true. And then I pulled up my account and I showed him, and I was like, look, it's actually there. Look at this. And he was like, holy cow, you made more than I make in a month in one day. And I was like, yeah. He was like, all right, you got to go in on this all the way. And now, after coming back from convention, I told him, I said, next year you're going to convention with me. I want you to see this. I want you to feel the energy. You've got to be there. You got to feel it. Yeah. And I said, if nothing else, at least you can see now that I needed convention, because going down for an Arkansas girl, going to Miami, hotels, airplane, food is even more expensive down there. It boggles my mind. And I told him, I said, at least if nothing else, you see that wasn't money wasted. Right. And the fact that And I told him, I said, the fact that I spent all that money to go down to Miami and we're not hurting, that is what really blew his mind. Was like, you know what, you're right. You're not, we're not hurting. We're not living paycheck to paycheck anymore. We're no longer that no, you can't have that dollar bag of candy parent anymore. So he's like, this morning, he gave me a Valentine's Day card, and usually, it has some little sweet, I love you, you're a good mom and good wife, and but this year he put that he was proud of me. And that's what I mean, I nearly cried reading it this morning, because he's not a sentimental, emotional. I mean, he's a cop, he was military, he has that kind of mindset. But this morning, that I've always wanted him to be proud of me. Like, being proud of myself is one thing, my kids being proud of me, that just makes my day. But for my husband to really see that this is working, we're not losing money, we're actually coming out ahead. It's amazing to me, because I've got his mindset turning too. Hopefully I can get him talked into coming on board, and we can do this a husband and wife team.
There you go. That's incredible. And he should be proud. And last thing, I don't want to go crazy long, because we want to get back on the phones and you as well. So give us a tidbit here in the way of selling virtual, because I do it. I graded it. Not my favorite thing. And people certainly do it at a higher level than me, including yourself. So let's pretend you have a new agent and you're trying to teach them on kind of how to go about it. What are some of the tidbits that you would give them?
The first thing I would say would be to calm down, because when you get on the phone, a lot of telemarketers, what do? High pitched, really high energy. They're trying to get all their information in before the person hangs up on them. So just calm down, take a breath before you hit that dial, and just calm down, slow your voice down, take your volume down, because they already don't want to be sold to over the phone. That's just the way people are conditioned here lately. So, and it's because of all the telemarketers selling them something that they've not asked for. And if you can just get your voice down, your tone down, your volume down, your speed down, it'll make them more comfortable, and they won't be as likely to hang up the phone on you. Because if you do that, you can set the tone of, I'm an actual business owner in your area. You've requested this. I'm calling you because you wanted me to.
I love that. You're very good at psychology. And I think that's big on the phone, because like just talking to you, you're excitable, right? But you're smart enough to know, instead of living here, I'm going to bring it here, and I'm going to live there. And I'm doing you the favor. I'm calling you back on Monday morning. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm trying to help you. And I love that. And that's why you're positioning yourself to be a Hall of Fame producer.
Well, thank you. There's, I think the second part I would say would be also know the culture in your area. So like where I am, I can't run my dial days the same way you can in Miami or somebody can in New York City, because our culture is different. Nobody is going to talk to you on the phone before 10 a.m. They're just not going to do it. 10 a.m., if it's before 10 a.m. in my area, it's considered rude and disrespectful to call before 10 a.m. That's just part of our culture. It's really important to know your area, to know the people you're trying to reach out to, that your target market, honestly, to know their culture, their beliefs, their priorities, so that you can understand them better than they think you do. Because people, I mean, the other day I got a phone call. It was 6:00 in the morning, and it was a telemarketer. It was somebody I had not reached out to, had not asked for information from. And honestly, it was all I could do to stay polite and calm and not lose my mind. our area, that's just the way people are here, and it's been that way for generations. You just don't call that early in the morning. So it's important to know the culture and to know the people that you're trying to talk to. So if it's a mom, tailor it to, hey, I'm going to help you get your kids protected. If it's a new husband, you know, hey, I'm going to make sure that your wife gets to stay in her house if something happens to you. Just make sure you tailor the conversation to each person and not do it so much cookie cutter, because if you tailor it to the different persons, you have a better chance in getting a positive reaction or continuing the conversation with them.
There you go. Love it. Well, I'm very proud of you. It was awesome to have you here. And I really think the investment you made of getting here from an uncomfortability perspective and from a just being around everything perspective, you made yourself so much money just in doing that alone than you ever would have spent coming here. And it's an honor to work with you, and anybody who ever has an excuse. I want you to think about the things that Holly has had to go through and fight through, and she does it with a smile on her face and a positive, great attitude. So I thank you for everything you do, and I look forward to big things, and I'm ready to come down to Arkansas.
Heck yeah, come on. We'll get an office open in 6 to 9 months. You guys come on down and I'll take you to the sports bar and we'll have some fun. Maybe even go find us a hiking trail or something so I can show you the site.
I love it. All right, dear. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Let's pound the phones. This is our first full week back from convention. So let's make it a big one. We had a great weekend, and now is the time. We got to seize the day. So have an awesome afternoon.